Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Oh my goodness, and welcome to an edition of GeekVerse.Bubbles. I am your host, Travis. Now, oh man, this has been a rockin' past 2 hours. Now, if you don't know, Thought Bubbles is kind of like my little spin-off show that I've brought back, right? That I do by myself. It's you, myself, me, myself, and I, you, myself, and I. Maybe I'm a little loopy because this has been the fun thing. So Monday, this is a great trial run. Monday is the official new era, which I got some really fun stuff planned. But the new era of Geek First podcast, the 3 week regime of Travis's Geek First, because everyone's gonna be gone. Jessica has her baby. Kirklin's going back to see family. Taylor's on his honeymoon. Dylan's playing Spelunky, all that good stuff. So I'm going to be hosting for like 3 weeks all myself. And I was going to lay out the whole schedule, but I think I'll do that later on this week because little tired. But I felt bad because I was like, I didn't know if I was going to have time to do newscasts. I'm like, okay, great. And that's what thought bubbles kind of are. They're my spin on the news, right? So if anyone saw the tweet around like 9 p.m. PST, I apologize because I was like, oh, if you're up the next half an hour, look out. And I just had, because obviously I still got to tweak some things, but new camera there for just the video people. But that and the mic, just this whole thing of like they were not mixing. There's a huge delay, and maybe people can tell me this on the replay after as well. This is a good test to see if there is a delay right now for you guys. As far as the podcast listeners, you should be completely fine. Everything like that, that's good. But oh man, and it was one of these things where spent probably 2+ hours, tutorials, YouTube videos, stuff like that. And then I just did something of plugging. Like it didn't feel like the turn on, turn off sort of situation, but that's what it did. It felt like I feel like I've tried this before and it just worked. I really don't know how. I don't know. I'm looking very forward to in the fall when we get our streaming laptop because I'll be using it a lot. All of us will, but I will use it for certain situations and some stuff like this where I could support the Wi-Fi. And then here, a lot better because I love Macs, very handy. But some of this tech stuff, oof, But the good thing is, I got old school people know. Listen to that. Oof, that's the sound of Gatorade, lemon lime Gatorade. Chris is somewhere giving me shit, but you know what, Chris? You know what? You drink. I'm sure you drink beer. You know that's not good for you. And I need 11, 20 people on my and because I didn't know when I was going to get to this next, and that's what I did want to talk these topics and everything like that. But I was like, well, I'm seeing Green Knight tomorrow. I'm reviewing that, and then the day after, I'm cleaning up because it's his bachelor party. That whole weekend's gonna be busy and stuff like that. So I was like, when am I gonna do it? And well, here I am. But it's lots of fun. So I'm gonna take one more drink here because lemon lime Gatorade. Mm, that's the good stuff right there. As Rob Williams was saying, Good Will Hunting. So this is Thought Bubbles. Geek First, usually we're doing multiple casts a week. You can go down to the description below and find everything from our Twitter, our Facebook, our YouTube when we do go live, everything like that. If you want to know, unlike tonight, usually we're primarily on time. Twitter, Facebook will let you know. YouTube, subscribe there. If you really like what we do, head over to Patreon. Every single episode, as you've seen, there's a lot of episodes right now, especially August come out. We got What If, we got Don't Breathe 2. See how that goes. Free Guy, Reminiscence. Very excited for that. So if you like all that content, please head over to Patreon. And I just dropped a really nice like 20-30 minute behind the scenes because I hadn't done behind the scenes in a while. And this was like a big, nice update on a bunch of things. Our fall and summer schedules, what we're doing with the future Patreon and that podcast funds, and how you're actually like legitimately now you can look into it as far as it says on our about or the behind the scenes audio, as far as legitimately the more we get support, the more content we're going to be creating. So we're really excited for that. The movie update, a whole bunch of stuff, the whole shebang. So, and you can't support us there, that's fine. If you can, ad-free, early, exclusive episodes, a bunch of other tiers and goodies as well. Head over to Apple Podcasts, and we will be very thankful if you leave a 5-star written review. And at the end of the day, if you leave any review, that's great because we've had a couple 5 stars. I think 3 or 4 the past 2 weeks. None of them are written. So one just written because it's good to nice to maybe hear how you found the show, things like that. But it does help us in the algorithm, helps people see it for the first time. It's a strange thing. It's a strange game, YouTube and podcasting, right? But do all that. You can check out. I'm trying to think what is coming up. Like I said, I'm going to be reviewing Green Knight. I just rewatched Ghost Story the other day. Such an interesting movie. I don't want to say anything more because it's what I think it came out 2017, 2018. I only saw it a few years ago. I missed it the year it came out, but you should check it out. It's from A24, and it's one of these things where you you think you know what it's gonna be about, and it's kind of you think you know where it's going, and it doesn't. And it's only on a half. It's very clever. He's directing The Green Knight. It's Casey Affleck, Rooney Mara, but they're. I'll preface is that they are in it. But they're not in it like a bunch, but. Check it out. It's a very clever. It's a movie that I don't want to say too much about. It's definitely a movie though you got to watch in a certain headspace because I could see someone watching the movie and hating it. So check that out. Yeah, we dropped the superhero draft, and then this weekend will be our 6-year anniversary draft, our 6-year anniversary cast. Here we go. One more swig of the Gator right here. Okay, that should do the trick there. And it's also just hot. Man, it is hot out. It's smoky out here, BC. You can look up all the things going on. Just sucks. But yeah, 6-year anniversary cast. It's crazy. We recorded a few weeks ago while everyone was still in town, but it's crazy that it's been 6 years, 4 years away from 10 years. That's just like I don't even want to think about that. It's all been good stuff, but it's like, yeah, 6 years ago we had the and we were Dylan's band. So really fun cast. We talk about a bunch of stuff in there. You guys send us questions. So please check out that. Those ones are always fun. It's myself, Taylor, and Kirkland. So be on the lookout for that this Saturday. So yeah, let's get into some of these news topics. Not too many. It's just the main news because I want to do this. Like I said, I don't know when the next one will be. It'll be later on, maybe midweek next week. As you can see now, and if you know about Patreon, we kind of eventually want to do kind of newscasts at the beginning of the week and end the week and stuff like that. And right now, don't know if there'll be one in the beginning next week, but that's the plan. I'm still, even though it's just I'm the lone soldier, I plan to give it to you because that's why we're here, right? Two title Travis, chairman of the GeekVerse Gauntlet, the Podfather of the podcast network. Check out our podcast network. 7 days a week, or now it is 7 shows, 5 days a week, but more are coming. Check out DC Alliance because we just announced a walk through the multiverse. That's Joe from Ranger Alliance. He's hosting that. That's as far as we cover Marvel and DC and all bunch of those type of comic books. He's gonna be covering everything else. So check that out. Lots of fun stuff popping off there. And they got Suicide Squad coming up. We got Suicide Squad coming up. So good stuff there. So I wanted to talk about this one, and I'm very excited to check out as far as podcast network Marvel Alliance coming up because they're going to be talking about this too. They're talking about a whole slew of things, and it's good because I haven't actually talked to those guys too much this week. I've been super busy. My job is just, it's just or stuff like that. But there's a lot of little Marvel news popping up. So check that because they're going to break this down too, and probably a bit more smarter in depth than I would. But so there are like a few reports that came out today, and I wasn't sure if one was tied to the other, but there's two that came out. They're like, okay, well, these two people are show running this. I'll pull it up, but it was like there's the one of the writers from Better Call Saul, which thank goodness we had all those updates about Bob Odenkirk, because last night there was at the time of this recording, there was these reports that he had collapsed and stuff, and then there was no updates till like 3 or 4 p.m. today. It was almost I don't know, 16, 14. And usually in that situation, when you don't hear anything, it's not good stuff. So, yeah. So, Better Call Saul writer and story editor Marion Dayar, we'll see. But Marion has been tapped as a lead writer of an upcoming mystery Marvel Studios. Could it be Armor Wars or something yet unannounced? And then WandaVision writer and story editor Peter Cameron has his next Marvel Studios permanent lineup. But what is it? Dot dot dot. Could the Carnival Row Magic Order story artist be in charge of Marvel Studios Ghost Rider? Now that's complete conjecture. Ghost Rider was trending all day. I think even Hansi dropped in our Discord. Check out our GV community Discord if you want to link. It's a bunch of us, GUA, other listeners. Let us know because the links expire. So hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, whatever it may be. Now we have heard these rumors of a Ghost Rider show, but like I said, I think MCU Direct ran as a separate story, but kind of buried in the story was they have, as of right now, at least 9 unannounced shows for Disney Plus. So not 9 MCU stuff, not a mix and match, 9 MCU streaming shows and unannounced. So it's not like a Loki season 2, stuff like that. So I meant to do this on air and I thought I was gonna have a little time until my gear completely turned against me. I was like, I'm gonna fuck you over tonight. I went, okay, that's lots of fun. So let's go down the list here. So Marvel shows here. And as far as those other show writers, Anyone from the Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad family is a good one to have on the team. Those are both quality shows. Breaking Bad to me is a great show of all time. So, what is his name? Vince Gillian, I think his name is. He knows talent. I trust Marvel will be like, okay, we see something here. The other guy who's like a writer editor for WandaVision, right there, that's kind of a proven track record. That happens all the time in shows where someone's in a smaller role. And not that writer's a smaller role, but director or a showrunner is definitely bigger than a writer, right? For the most part. So I think I'm fine on both of those as far as the signs. Because I think with the Armor Wars, they kind of put two and two together, like, oh, this could mean that, this could mean that. Sure, whatever. But again, that's not part of the unannounced show. So Marvel show. So here's some that we've heard rumors, and these are taken from this was a mix of Illuminati and Murphy's Multiverse that had put these out, right? So let's go with his boy Ghost Rider, right? Ghost Rider. Okay, it's there. Do I think that's likely? I know we've heard reports of it. Do I think it's likely? Yeah, just because we've had these conversations before where there's certain things that would get banned in China or other countries, and that's why maybe Ghost Rider won't be theatrical or get a theatrical movie. At the same time, like any comic book character as we've seen can get a comic book series. It's very interesting if that would be. Uh, I believe he's coming to the MCU. The series one is still hard for me to buy, even though that's a rumor going around. I just always thought that they would use Ghost Rider for a little bit as a Hulk type character in phases 1 to 3, maybe less so 3, but where he's just a supporting character who gets a lot of cool stuff. That's what I kind of thought they would do if he gets a show. Clearly, they're not doing it. There's lots to explore. There's multiple Ghost Riders. I think the rumor was Johnny Blaze right now, but that could easily change, right? So Ghost Rider, that's one. Nova, it's I'll be gonna put Nova down because I have a point to bring up about him. Young Avengers, which I get it. Lots of the Young Avengers are being introduced on Disney Plus, right? But I've always asked, do they want to not have that in theaters? Now, you look at Loki, they are doing bigger things in the shows now. So I could buy that. I hope they give it a very good budget. That's all I ask for is that the Young Avengers don't have the at the same time though. I'm trying to think. I guess it depends on the rosters, but we've kind of talked about before. Is there going to be street level certain characters, like or villains or storylines? And if you have more that, even then, if you got Wanda's kids that already you're dealing with, like if they're going up against Kingpin, I feel like Kingpin doesn't have the best shot. But maybe there's a way around that. But anyway, so Young Avengers is one, right? Illuminati, no, not Illuminati is one, which was strange because like that's a combination of a bunch of people like Professor X and Reed Richards and T'Challa and Tony Stark, lots of people that are the brain trusts of the Marvel Cinematic or just the Marvel universe. And in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, obviously a lot of those characters, T'Challa's not going to be around. Iron Man's not around, so they could pluck other ones, but I think it's kind of what me and Chris talk about with Secret Invasion on Marvel Alliance, where it's like, I don't see this as a TV show, but they're doing it, so let's say they did. Same thing with Illuminati. I even see that just more as a concept than a movie or a TV show. So I digress. There was like so right now there's three. And I would imagine when we get this announced, they're all going to be at if they announce these all right, if they throw out their big like, oh, look at this, they're all going to be at the Disney Plus Investors Day, which I hope they do in a weekend or something or later, so I can take the day off this time. But let's see here because I was trying to find out some other one. So and Secret Warriors was the other one that they had been throwing out as well. So okay, so Secret Warriors, I'll put that in there. So the other ones they put was Nova. The problem was, and now Feige had said this before, like, oh yeah, Nova's coming to the MCU. Been saying that for a little bit. I've always assumed that it was going to be a movie, but that doesn't mean it has to be, right? So if it's Nova as a show, okay, maybe. Like, let's just help me out here. That gets us to Ghost Rider, Young Avengers, Illuminati, Secret Warriors, and Nova. All right. So what else could it be? Everyone was throwing out Daredevil. Possible. It's tough because like my mind did go like, okay, Daredevil, and then you have I was thinking one of the possibilities was like a Hero for Hire type show. Now they might change it to. I was thinking instead of Luke Cage and Iron Fist, it could be Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. We've heard rumors of Chris Murray coming back, but either way, I feel like you could do that and kind of have that same type of vibe, but make it about the relationship. Give them the baby, Danny. Give them the baby. As far as that could be a fun thing to do with the show. So that's like what I'm throwing out there in Heroes for Hire, and like okay, same thing as Daredevil. I could see it, but then it's just like, are you just copying? It's not necessarily copying, but it's just like, are you going to be too close to the Netflix show as far as your show, but people will compare you right away, and you might be viewed as lesser than, especially for some fans that like the more darker edge, right? I trust Feige to make an entertaining, exciting Daredevil show based around Matt Murdock or whatever it may be, and I actually think that could work. I think some of those crime fighting type of weekly avenging worked in Daredevil, worked in Netflix shows, worked in what I'm watching right now, Dexter. It works in that where it's like there's a bad guy and you got to take him down, right? So it could. I just feel like again, I could be wrong on Dare or Ghost Rider, but I feel like he was going to be that type of way where Daredevil. We've heard rumors that he's going to pop up in Spider-Man Far or No Way Home, fucking Home Tales, Spider-Man No Way Home. There's been She-Hulk rumors, and then recently there's been Secret Invasion rumors. So as to me, that shows like, hey, he is the Hulk for a little bit. Could he get his own series? Yeah, I guess. So, like, I'm gonna put them down as a maybe. Now, here's another one that they didn't have in these reports, but technically, and I don't think this is a cheat, it was they have 9 unannounced, maybe more, but 9 unannounced Marvel shows. I think the majority of them, like I said, will come at that Disney Investor Day. Can't wait for that because last time they announced a bunch, right? Like Armor Wars out of nowhere came. So the one I'm thinking is Echo. We've talked about that on Marvel Alliance. She's going to be a character debuting Hawkeye. I still go, hey, I think that's a little fast to be. We just introduced this character in Hawkeye and we're already greenlighting a show when no one's seen it. We don't know if people like this character. What if they're not invested? Again, I trust the team, but what if? I'll always say this that I got big time scared after BVS because it's such a tricky situation, right? Because I think Hines puts it the best way when he talks about the Snyder Cut issue, where it's like either you should have went with Zack Snyder or fired him before, and I agree with that. Now we got the Snyder Cut. I really enjoyed the Snyder Cut, but at the same point, after BVS, I was personally ready for a switch in direction and director, and I still don't know if that would have been the worst thing ever because I ended up liking the Snyder Cut in Justice League, but I didn't know that in advance, right? And I still like. I would want more of that, you know. Of course, people are going to do that hashtag restore snipers. I'm all down for the multiverse idea, but I wouldn't have been opposed to another director getting a shot and maybe because here's my point. We talked about this on the review. The Snyder Cut would have never been that in 2017. They still would have chopped it to shit. He was never going to get this 4-hour version, right? So that's why it's tough for me to be like, oh, well, yeah, of course I'd like this version that was long and I liked it a lot better, but I probably wouldn't have got that version. So it's a chicken and the egg scenario, right? So I was always like, wow, after BVS, I think it was like 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, and they went right into Justice League. It's like, man, you should have gave yourself a little bit of buffer so you could have pivoted because that was the whole rumor of like they didn't want to pivot because all these bonuses. Same as Echo. Echo is clearly not in the same situation as BVS or Zack Snyder was, and even if it was, it's a much smaller deal because it's Disney Plus. But I digress. There's been rumors. That's what's going on. So Echo, that would be the other one up there. And then the other one that I feel like is a given, I think me and Chris just talked about this last week when I was on Marvel Alliance, as far as what's going to happen with the Power Broker and Sharon and all this sort of stuff. And where's Bucky? Because yeah, we got Captain America 4 coming up, but is Bucky going to really be a part of that? Is he going to have a substantial role? Like, will it be the exact same as the Steve Rogers movies where he's there side by side and maybe he gets a Nomad title, something else, and then he goes back to his TV show? But again, I had brought that up on MA as well that we heard rumors about Loki season 2. That happened. We heard rumors about Falcon and Winter Soldier season 2. That hasn't happened yet. Hasn't been announced. It's a movie. So, but I do think he is that show. So as right now, if we're going, I got Ghost Rider, Young Avengers, Illuminati, Secret Warriors, Nova, Heroes for Hire, Echo, Bucky, and Daredevil. So right there is I've filled the 9. Am I 100% right? No. The ones I most feel confident on are, I would definitely say the Echo one, just because we've heard rumors that strongly. Bucky, because I do think they will follow up with him somehow. Young Avengers, and then Ghost Rider maybe in like a tier just below that, but I do believe it more than Illuminati feels like an idea that they are kicking around, and it might be incorporated in one of these shows. But I don't know if the show would be. I definitely don't know if the show would be called Illuminati. But I just don't see it in. It's definitely, I mean, the comic book form, but maybe they've already said Secret Invasion is like inspired by that story, but it's not actually that story. Like it's not ripped from the pages. It's taking, and I think even less so than Civil War, because to me, Civil War, yeah, it wasn't that exact same story, but it followed the heart of it and had a lot of like there's an inciting incident. The heroes are split up. Where this does sound like okay, there's gonna be people as scrolls, but this Secret Invasion was such a big events in the comic books, right? So that's 9 right there. I'm trying to think like what else there could be. I still think a Guardian show, and I'll put that right there. I still think a Guardian show is possibility, whatever it may be. And I do hope, and that's where I think some of these, because they had talked about, I don't think we talked about this last cast as far as they've opened up an animation wing, right? I think there's a very good chance that one of these shows is also animated, whether it is like a Captain Carter spinoff, which is very interesting because I'm sure they'll talk about Marvel Alliance, but they released all the toys for What If, and I don't buy toys anymore, but man, this is like getting me close to doing it. But they released all the toys. The T'Challa one is just looking so fine, but they had like all whatever Star Lord, T'Challa, all their type of titles, right? The Captain Carter toy, which is also very badass. They're all just badass. These what ifs. It had Marvel's Captain Carter. Now I'm gonna be very happy because on Marvel Alliance a few weeks ago, I actually was last month. I did Captain Carter will be have a live action appearance in the MCU. I think the next 5 years or something like that. And I think it got voted fiction, and I think Chris and Brent were both fiction. And then like the week after, it's like, oh yeah, there's rumors gonna have multiverse balance. Now, is it actually going to happen? That only time will tell. But I just think it makes so much sense as far as it's an easy story to do. Captain America's gone. Haley Atwell, she's not like getting bigger every year, like star power wise, but she's definitely getting more well known. She's about to be in the Mission Impossible movies. So I think that Haley Atwell is a great add on. And she's just one of those actresses in the MCU that people love. There's some actresses that people like, oh, they like in their role, or they're fine. Like here's one for me, Jeremy Renner. I love him in that role. Well, there's many people that just think he's kind of bland and vanilla, right? I think with her, everyone loves her in that role and would always want to see more Haley Atwell. Captain Carter, boom. Maybe she's just voicing it, sure. Like we already got an Agent Carter show. So it would kind of be funny that we got Captain Carter, but this would be much different. The backing of Feige, the budget, everything like that. So I do think animated shows are possibilities. And I'm not saying like a what if season 2, just if they've created a studio, even if it's a mini one, they're working on more than a few things, I'd imagine, right? Even if it's just in the development stage. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I wonder if we get all 9 shows next Disney's Investor, because like as of right now, Hawkeye, we don't know if he'll get a second season. Miss Marvel, we don't, because Miss Marvel's going into the movies after Hawkeye. We don't know if this is one or done or not. So it's gonna be interesting to see what these shows are and what shows do get a season 2, because at least we do have a show already confirmed. Okay, Loki's getting a season 2, so we know it's possible. We know they're all not going to be mini stories or just a one arc, one and done season. So I'm very interested to see what they do. So let me know what you think. Maybe it's Punisher. No, it's not going to be Punisher. And plus, like, I don't think any of these are, but when they do get to the X-Men, man, that show count is going to go through the roof. So let me know, because we're about to take our first ad break, and then we got a few more stories to talk about. A little lighter newscast, but a few good ones these next, especially one. I'm gonna talk about the Lamb trailer. Man, there's some stuff there. So we will be right back after this first ad break. And we're back. We're back. Okay, so like I said before, let me know Facebook, Twitter, Discord what you think those 9 shows could be. Those are kind of the ones that there's other ones I thought could be. Does that count as a season 2? I guess I forgot to mention too, because it's unannounced. I still think something with Scarlet Witch and Vision. I don't like I would prefer it not to be that. I would love if they got their own movie, because I've always said before, I think Wanda and Scarlet and what's her name, Elizabeth Olsen, are going to a higher tier in the MCU. So I think you could easily pull off a movie with her as just her starring, even if it's just with Vision. But we'll see down the line. We'll see what happens. Ghostbusters Afterlife. I honestly keep forgetting it's called Ghostbusters Afterlife. I just keep calling it Ghostbusters 3, Ghostbusters 3. And that, no disrespect to any of the other movies or whatnot. It's just like I've just forgotten that subtitle. I've forgotten a lot of things because of COVID and whatnot. I've definitely been reminded how fucking stupid people are. Please go get vaccinated, as you know. Again, if you get mad by that statement, then please, you don't need to listen. It's just more of a, man, I'm so tired of like, and I'm completely for it. We were rocking cases. I can't remember what it was. We had said, I think there was one case where it's like 40 in BC, or maybe 40, it was small. And then now it's like masks are coming back because it's like getting up to the high hundreds, going to the 200s, and masks are backs and quantity of this. And that's what we got to do 100%. But just a few people ruin it for everyone else. I'm assuming a lot of our American listeners would agree with me, at least as far as I've talked to them. So that's why things have been jumbled. So hopefully we do get this movie. That's my thing of, especially in the GUA chat, they always bug me about the Spider-Man trailer. And for a while I was bugged because like, yeah, I just want to see it. Come on, I'm impatient. You guys know that's one of my worst qualities. Now I'm at the point, because there's a few scoopers that put that out there like, oh, well, they're kind of waiting to see what the vaccine numbers are like till they put out a trailer to really promote this. I've at least told myself, so I don't get excited, that the movie's next year and we're not going to get a trailer this year, just to help with the hype. And I can deal with that one, even though if Toby's going to be back, that's going to hurt. The one that's going to really hurt me is Batman. If they delay Batman again, oh man, I just want to see that movie so bad. Just so bad. I want to see it. But do I want to see Ghostbusters so bad? No, but here's the thing. Ghostbusters for me is one of the, I think we can all have those movie shows, songs, whatever. You can go, that thing is great, but I don't love it. And love's a bad word, because I'm not sure, we're not going to retro them. But if I were to watch what I rank it, it'd probably be pretty high. And I could say I love the movie as far as like it's very well done and well made and well performed, well acted, well written, all that sort of stuff. But it's just one of those ones that never got its hooked into me being like, I absolutely love Ghostbusters, where people might go, oh, it's an interesting. No, because like fucking, like, I know maybe it's because of kids, but like something like Goonies, that hooked me. Look Who Talkie 2 hooked me, but that's not a classic. But that's where it's like I've always said like it's a fantastic, great movie. Like all those hyperbolic things you can use. The second one, I've only seen it twice, and I remember not really liking that much, but I'd like to watch it again. The reboot, I don't think it was as bad as everyone wanted it to be, as far as just hating on it, but it definitely wasn't great. But the first one is kind of those like film classics, the quintessential. You need to watch Ghostbusters if you're gonna talk about movies. So what's always excited me about is Jason Reitman. Obviously, yeah, you got the family ties, but just all in all, his films are fantastic. Look at Up in the Air. That's probably my favorite film of his films that he's done. And so it's like, just even if he wasn't Ivan Reitman's kids, like the town alone, very good choice. And as far as this trailer goes, I thought it was really well done. Yeah, does it kind of have that Stranger Things kind of it vibe where it looks like taking a bit more self seriously? But even then, like like people argue about this all the time, but the first one's pretty serious. Like there's comedy, but like it's not a hijinks movie like that reboot was. It's just a dramatic ghost movie with some comedic actors that has some comedic beats, but it's not just like a laugh riot. At least in my opinion, it's not just a laugh riot, or it's not intended to be. Like there might be facial expressions or situations that make you laugh, but it's not Bill Murray telling yucks for about an hour and a half, right? But this trailer, I think, looked good. I think the interesting is it, and I don't know if this will hurt them, but they feel like they're being like very mysterious with the movie, and you can see by that end credit or the stinger, as far as someone answers the phone, it's clearly Dan Aykroyd says we're closed. You're gonna have that kind of. I think they're hoping to kind of get that building of like, I want to see these characters and whatnot. But it's just now Ghostbusters versus GI Joe, much different situation as far as popularity, right? But I do wonder what Ghostbusters is going to do. And if you want to send in questions for the show, join our Patreon at any tier, and you can send them in. Clay, I'm going to get to your question in a second here, because it has something to do with that. 80s franchise between G.I. Joe and Ghostbusters. I always argue that Ghostbusters is definitely bigger than G.I. Joe's, but there's two things. As far as G.I. Joe, to me, is not, some of them sneak through, but it's, at least for me, in my liking, and I know for many others, anytime I hear a King Arthur, a Robin Hood, and sometimes, with some exception, and sometimes a Sherlock announced, it's like, I've seen enough. I've been there, done that. Sherlock, you can sell me on. Robin Hood, King Arthur, not really for me. I need like a radical change or some really great movie. So With G.I. Joe, I was always wondering, okay, do people still care about this? And we are in a pandemic and things are lighter, but it had a really bad box office. Old beat it. And it's that thing of like, do people really care about G.I. Joes? And now I ask myself, do people really care about Ghostbusters? Now, I do think, again, their fan base is bigger, but it you had the movie, the last one. I'm trying to think about how to phrase this. You had that reboot, which was, I'll say, at least disliked. I know many people, as far as not that I know personally, but people on Twitter that you follow on social media that absolutely hated the movie, thought it was garbage. Like I said, I thought it was not good, but like passable, But even then, I don't know if I would have rated it a pass, to be honest. If I would have reviewed it, I never did. I just put on One Day Rambling on Netflix just to see what the hubbub was about. And I don't think it was about much because to me, it's just like a fine movie. But you have an older brand, and then you have a movie, what was it, 2016, somewhere in there, that came out, did not do well, kind of all on all fronts. So is the brand a little hurt? And it's also tough, right? Because if we were in the regular world, we would know by its opening weekend of, okay, people no longer care about Ghostbusters, or they do. This whole world where Fast is out for a little bit, and then all of a sudden this Friday it's gonna be on VOD. You're like, what? And like same thing with Black Widow coming up. It's like all this stuff's happening. So it's a different time now, because if you would have had that box office going on now, like I said, we would know, is it a hit? Now in COVID, any movie has that. Oh, well, COVID really hurt it. Hurt its success. You have that excuse with almost any movie now. You want to just plug that in. But at the same point, I still think you can get a gauge of, you have Fast and Furious and Black Widow that are doing 70, 80 million. You get a gauge of, even if it's lower than what they would have done, a gauge of the interest at this level. Go. I said in the GOH, and some people disagree when we were talking about movies that could open higher than Black Widow. I think Ghostbusters has a shot, not a strong shot, but it could, if it accumulates that type of Force Awakens feel or hype, where it's that the old meeting the new done perfectly. That kind of makes, obviously, Force Awakens was not done perfectly for lots of people, but still, for the majority of the world, it felt like it was a good balance between the new stuff that we're getting introduced to, but with the old stuff as well. The Creed method, the Force Awakens method, the kind of Dr. Sleep method. Not really exactly, but that has a good idea of using a lot of the things or stories or characters you knew of and readapting them in the story. So is that going to work here? If it gets that momentum, I do think it can. I do think it can get to that 60, 80, yeah, somewhere around there. But again, if all the, like, I'm gonna see it because I'm pretty sure we're gonna review it, and I understand the cultural impact of Ghostbusters, so that's why. But as someone that doesn't love Ghostbusters, I don't know if I need to see that, and I think that is a lot of my demographic. As far as, there's probably lots of people that haven't even seen Ghostbusters. Maybe this will get an uptick and help them, but as far as the trailer goes, I think it did a good job. Like I said, maybe could show a little too much of the mystery, or like they're just showing a lot of mystery is what I mean, and not enough actual full-on story or plot to kind of understand what's going on. But that's fine. There's a town that's gonna be haunted. Okay, touche. So I liked it. Is it gonna succeed? I think it's gonna do all right, but I don't think it's gonna do. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, but I don't think, especially now, cases are going up too. That's kind of hard, right? We're grading on like another curve. Like I said, 40 to 60. I'd have to see what the budget is. It might not even be released yet to say, is that a good call on that? And I don't know. I like the trailer. I'm intrigued. Like the cast. I think they're setting up well. Will audiences respond to it? I don't know. We'll have to see. So I'm going to go pull up Clay's question right now, because he was asking a question about the fall movie box office. Now, he was not on, Clay, if you're listening, you were not on the last After 9, and we did a whole rundown of the kind of fall schedule coming up here, but I will pull this up right now. And then after this, we'll take another ad break, and then we'll talk about a weird fucking trailer. Just a weird dashboard, notifications. Where are we? But yeah, go over to Patreon, and you can send us a question at any point about topics, reviews, stuff like that. Out of all big movies coming out September to December, which ones do you think will fail worse, and some will most definitely get lost in the shuffle? Ghostbusters has a big name, so that's a good thing it has going for it, that I don't think it will get lost in the shuffle just from the pure marketing and advertising and stuff like that, and people talking about it. And even if it sucks, people will be talking about it. So I don't think it'll get lost in the shuffle. I think people have to see it. Let me go get the movie release dates for 2021 coming up, because I think it's first showing that is the site I use pretty much, because it's actually has a nice layout. Oh my goodness. Come on now. Yeah, firstshowing.com.net. Sorry. Man, don't gotta get the .com thing wrong, right? Let's see here. So let's start with September. We'll go all the way down there as far as what could get lost shuffled. Shang-Chi, not gonna get lost. No, it's Marvel. Malignant. I don't know about loss, but it could be one of those, if it doesn't match what James Wan has done before, it could kind of go away. And it's also because it's tough, because in October you have some other horror, especially with Halloween Kills. So it's like, would that take the what people go, oh, if I'm gonna see one horror movie this fall, it's gonna be Halloween Kills, especially as the ligaments on HBO Max. It's going to be. So yeah, that has potential. Cliff of the Big Red Dog. No, I think people talk about maybe just not the greatest way. Venom 2, no. And I'm just in the biggest ones. I feel like this has to change. Adam's Family 2 and Hotel Transylvania Formania. Sorry. Formania. Okay, they're transforming. It's a 4. That has to change, right? They can't both be on the same day. I think Adam's Family, the first one, was like a quiet kind of sleeper hit. I watched it. It was fine. I'd want them to use that cast in live action though. But if those were to come on the same day, I think Adam's Family would get lost in the shuffle, because I think Hotel Transylvania is just bigger. Bond, no. Halloween Kills, no. Last Duel, no. I think they'll get Oscar bait. It's Ridley Scott. It's Ben and Matt back together. A whole bunch of other stuff going on. Adam Driver, which I didn't get a chance to put as the background. Actually, I can't, because it's just me in StreamYards. But did you see those photos of him on a horse? Oh my god. Oh my god. What a good looking guy. Like that. I saw that and I was like, man, that's the closest I've ever been to being on the other team. Like it was like, man, this guy is just a god among us. So that's not getting lost in the shuffle. Then we get and then we got Halloween Kills. No, I don't think it's get lost in the shuffle. Lots of people like that one. It's October, just plays right. Dune, and then Jackass Forever, I think, has a chance, just for the fact that I don't know if this generation's into it. I've never really been in the Jackass. I know Taylor's really hyped. I think Jessica's hyped, but I think Taylor will watch it and enjoy it. But I could see it getting lost and having really disappointing box office. And they look at this, they go, you know what? We don't need to do this ever again. We got our little more money we could get out of it. Here we go. And then Last Night in Soho, and oh, sorry, you got Dune, and then Last Night in Soho. Dune also is that same way, Jackass. So I feel like I wonder how Denis feels about that. He'll see Dune in one trailer or one theater, and then right beside it, Jackass, some weird ass poster. Dune won't get lost to shuffle, because it's question, like you're asking lost shuffle. I almost forgotten about. I don't think Dune will get forgotten about, because even if it does bad, the same thing. I think people are gonna like analyze it. I don't know if that movie's gonna do well. I think that's a very, very similar situation to Blade Runner, as far as it could just fall on its face and lose a bunch of money. But I also think if it hits, it could have an Avatar level where it just slowly is making money each week. But then again, HBO Max potentially, but still, it looks like a big screen movie in that world and that cast. So I hope it hits, and that's at home was one of the bigger ones. But if you had to put a gun to my head, it could be another Blade Runner 2049 situation. So that won't get lost. Last Night in Soho, I don't think will get lost. I think Anna Taylor Joy is, like, as Mugatu would say, so hot right now. Edgar Wright is just getting bigger and bigger as far as more popular with the mainstream, especially after Baby Driver, which is his most mainstream one, I'd say. I like it, so maybe that says something about me. But November 5th, Eternals. No, that's not gonna get lost. As we were talking about earlier, Ghostbusters, Top Gun Maverick. Does it get lost in the shuffle? Top Gun Maverick. That's interesting. I'm gonna say no, because I think it's a quintessential dad movie. Because I feel like there's a lot of people at my work that bring up that are all the 45 plus, and that's fine. But all the 45 plus camp that I saw this back then, I'm gonna see this now. Could it kind of fall on its face as well? Not bomb, but just lose money or not do well? Yeah, I could see that very easily. I could see that, but I think You got Tom Cruise. You got a classic sequel. I'm sure we'll get one more trailer hyping up this film. So yeah, I don't think we'll get lost in the shuffle, but I'm not. It's on the bubble in my opinion. After that's Beal Get Back. Well, that's a Disney Plus one, so that's fine. December 31st, Nightmare Alley. Shout out April, who knew that last time. She knew that just off the jump. That was the Guillermo's new movie. No, I don't think they'll get lost. Oscar winner Guillermo, people like him. West Side Story. No, it'll do well at Christmas because people are always looking for, like, if you look at Christmas, what's coming out? The Kingsman, Matrix 4, and Spider-Man No Way Home. I think enough family members at Christmas or whatnot will be like, hey, I don't want to see any of these type of sci-fi big comic book movies. West Side Story, here it is. Spider-Man, no. The Kingsman, I think, has a good shot of being lost, especially if it keeps this date, the same day as Matrix 4 and Sing 2. No, no, you can't do that. Sing 2 is not really its audience, but Matrix is, for the most part, rated R, adult violence, doing things that you didn't think you'd see on film. And I'm not saying that's what Kingsman's gonna be, but like if you look at the first Kingsman with that Colin Farrell scene, or Colin Firth scene, sorry, when he's in that church, you know what I'm talking about. Um, but yeah, Kingsman has a chance to, I think, a high chance to bomb, and Lost in Shuffle will be one of those movies that pops up on your Netflix years ago. You're like, oh right, they made a prequel to that. I don't know why. I think the rumor was that someone wrote a script, and to sell it or to get it going, they just changed all the particulars into the Kingsman world. So could be wrong, but that's just what I've heard. Yeah, so no, I think there's only a few, Clay, but not too many. I think there's, like I said, maybe I got to about 3 that I think could be getting lost, but no, I think people want to see movies. If they're allowed to see them, that's another question, but I think people want to see them. So, let's take our final ad break, and then we'll be right back with a very interesting trailer. Not a Taylor. Taylor's not here. Get out, Taylor. We'll be right back. All right, so A24, one of my favorite studios. I think if you're a film geek or buff or whatever, A24 is kind of always on your map. That you may not like all their films, but it's kind of a essential. Oh, I need to see this to see what they're up to. So there's this I can't even say that last thing. There's this trailer again because I've been so busy at work. Because I feel like lots of times before when I wasn't busy at work, I could, like, take a little break there, stuff like that, or take my full lunch. Now, just this week has been crazy, maybe a little next week. Took not all of it. And usually stories that I would see, investigate, I just glance at because like, oh, I got to catch up and talk to everybody, whether it's texts or tweets or stuff like that, emails. So it's a movie called Lamb. I had not known what it was about at all. I think they released a poster on the Monday or Tuesday of Naomi Rapace, and she's just kind of looking, and maybe she might even be holding the lamb, but I don't recall that. But either way, we got this look as far as a movie that a lamb gives birth to a half lamb, half human child. We're not giving much information other than they're going to raise this child, and looks like there's some stress involved. I hope the stress isn't some weird supernatural. This guy had sex with a lamb, and that's why it's like this. I don't. It's A24 though. Look at, like I was telling a ghost story. They make some weird stuff, so maybe I just don't know what ritual I'd be taking a part of if that would happen. So, the trailer, I think, kind of proposes that her and her husband maybe had a child and lost him or her, and that's how they feel kind of connected to this child. I guess they have a lamb head, but still a child nonetheless. It's A24. The trailer looked interesting, and anytime they're doing stuff, I have my radar up. Go, okay, I'm here for this, because there's stuff like even Midsommar and Hereditary. Like I think Hereditary, I'm probably one of the lower scores. Like I gave it a 7 or 8, maybe that's it. And it's just like there's tons of stuff I love about, but there's some problems just because A24, they don't just put out perfect stuff, and unless it's Uncut Gems, because that's like or Moonlight. Those are like 2 perfect movies right there. So it can be done, but it's a little less common. But I don't know. And then you had the trailer. So like baby comes, they all look shocked. I love the trailer because I had heard about this before I saw the trailer, but the trailer for the first half is like always hiding the the lamb's human features. So it's like wrapped up in a towel, nice the way they're bathing it, stuff like that. So I think that was a very fun clip for just the trailer. Maybe they do a little bit of that in the movie, but we'll have to wait and see. But it looks like these lambs are like following her, and it looked like it was almost turning to a witch style where it looks like these animals are not too happy. Black Phillip. There's some creepiness going on there, and they might want their lamb half human kid back to do what type of work, I don't know. But and that's the thing, like they're playing this all, it's deadly serious and it looks like horrorish. It's not just like, oh ho, how did this, it's like it looks like this might be their second chance, but they're dealing with, hey, the morality of this. Am I allowed to raise a lamb child? I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. This is a movie though, at least like I already love Naomi Place. She did great ever since I saw her with the girl. I can't remember what the actual trilogy is called, but that trilogy of films. She's good in Alien. She's good in this Alien. I haven't really about that. It's just intriguing, and it's the type of shit I like because I love film in general. But anytime we get something where it's like I legitimately haven't seen or thought of this before, you're on my radar. And the good thing is A24 is kind of doing that a few times. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. Let me know what you think about that. If you're excited for Lamb, I'm very excited for Green Ant, but let me know if you're excited for Lamb. It's gonna be a wild movie, and it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a creepy movie. Just the way these lambs are like looking at them in these movies, you don't want to mess with it, especially if they think that baby's supposed to be theirs. No, I don't want to be the warehouse attacked by a bunch of lambs that I'm at working. Like I want them to stay happy. So don't let's figure out the gender here soon and go from there. So like I said, this was a smaller one. We're just coming up under an hour here, and I'm ending a little early because I think there was some stuff, like there was the Ahsoka stuff, and there was some like rumored casting stuff. But I think there's some things I'll say for next week because it's coming on midnight here. And like I said, I want to get out there, one touch base with you guys. Next week I'll be putting up the full schedule of what I'm doing, but kind of tentatively, it's 2 newscasts reviewing Marvel's What If and a movie because all of August, I think there's a movie every Thursday, Friday. So I'm going to be delivering you at least 3 podcasts a week by myself. So bear with me. I'm trying my very best. And I thank you all for the support. If you're listening or whether it's on Patreon, that really help us support us because want to make sure that we have some pre stuff recorded, but I'm also saving some of that for September because that's when September I'm going to be on with my project. So I'm trying to hold down the best I can. Little tired as far as my gear just being assholes to me. But thank you very much for listening to this kind of mini thought bubbles. And I promise when you hear from us next, it'll not be boring. Take care.